Hello, everyone. This is Alan Gallegos with the Boise Beat here on the Playbook. Today, we're going to be getting into playoff implications. Let's go. My first guest we have here today is my father, who is the one who got me into football and has been my best friend since I've been old enough to watch it. Alan Gallegos Sr.
Thanks for having me, son. Let's go.
Yeah, let's get into it. What have you seen this year that's been a little different for you?
Well, there's a lot of different teams that we never expected to do as bad as they have, like the Chiefs. The Bills have struggled at times. And the Browns, nobody thought they'd go to their third or fourth quarterback and be in the playoffs. That's crazy. The Rams were win six and a half games. They're in the playoffs. I mean, Dallas is there. Green Bay's fighting for a spot even. And nobody would have thought that with a new quarterback. So everything else pretty much same as usual, same teams as usual, but it's been a crazy year.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, you look at teams like the Chiefs, the Bills that have really struggled, and then also surprise teams like the Rams. It really comes down to just good coaching, keeping teams afloat. That's the consistency everywhere around. You see a team like the Ravens that are number one, Dolphins right behind them. Also a product of great coaching right there. It says a lot about where these teams are at.
I know the Cowboys actually got a chance to win a division this year if they win their next game against the Commanders, which isn't a given, but it'd be like the 19th straight year that division has had a new champion. That's crazy, huh?
Yeah, every other year there's a new winner in that division.
Yep,
You
yep.
never know how that's going to pan out. The Eagles had it unlocked for quite a bit. Now all of a sudden it's in jeopardy after a few bumpy weeks.
Yeah, who knows what's going on with the Eagles? They've lost to some pretty bad teams. It's just crazy. I mean, they had the number one seed locked up. They were 10-1. All of a sudden, they're what, 10-5, 10-6, something like that, 11-6.
Mm-hmm.
But if they win and Dallas loses, they'll win the Eastern Conference, the East Division.
Yeah, that's correct. What do you think
And
has went wrong with the Eagles?
oh, you name it. I mean, last year they had 70 sacks. This year they got 40. Their running game hasn't been near the same, and so their defense is like 26th in the league this year. Well, they were one of the top 5 defenses last year, if not the top. And so Hurts has been hurt. He's been really inconsistent too. The only thing they got going for him is that what they call it, that push.
The
What's it called?
the
Tush push or
the
something.
yeah, the tush push.
Yeah, they got that going for him now.
The brotherly shove. You
Yeah,
name it.
yeah, but they got to get to the goal line to use that pretty much, except fourth down. So
That's true. That is very
yeah,
true.
can't run it every play.
Yep.
Or they could probably get first downs running it every play.
They probably could with that O line. But yeah, you've seen all
Yeah,
the injuries on the defense, all that's happened over there, shaking things up. Let's get into a team that's also struggled with a bit of injuries this year, but has come on as of late, the Buffalo Bills. Do you see them possibly being the boogeymen of the AFC?
they could. They started out 6-6, won their last four games, I
Mm,
think. They're playing good ball. Now they got a chance to play the Dolphins, and they're 12-2 against the Dolphins since 2017. So I like their chances. And you know how
yeah,
the Dolphins have played this year.
yeah. If they win the division. The Bills can, after all that they've went through. They can
I
also
don't know
miss the playoffs if
if they
certain
lose.
things happen. If they lose,
Yeah, and Miami, I mean, they're a good team at home, especially, but when they play good defenses, they have not played well. Buffalo worked them over earlier this year, pretty bad, 42-20 or something like that. And so they've struggled against good defenses. So I don't know. I'm thinking Buffalo might pull this one out, make a comeback this year, 5 in a row.
yeah. And if you look at this Bills team, they're a completely different team than years past. I mean, obviously they get rid of Ken Dorsey mid-year,
Yeah.
but in years past they've been a very heavy pass offense, very much rely on Josh Allen, gunslinger mentality. And then all of a sudden they kind of go to this run heavy offense, getting James Cook involved. They're throwing it to him more often, but really running the offense through him and kind of controlling the clock like that. It's a whole new Buffalo Bills team. It's brought a whole new element to them, and it's been working very well for them.
It has. I mean, before that, you'd have to have Josh Allen throw for 200, 300 yards. He's had some games thrown for 150 or less, and they still won. I
Yeah,
mean, with that running, because that running sets up everything. And then you keep passing all the time and gets Josh Allen hurt.
and
Uh,
we've seen it because I think he had a streak going into this year where he had I don't know how many games, more than 10, where there was a turnover, at least one turnover from him every game.
yeah,
And
that's a big difference because he hasn't been
yeah,
turning the ball over. And before, you never could count on the Bills to win a game they should win. But this,
yeah,
all of a sudden, they're doing it.
and this is the time to do it. This is the time to get hot if you're looking to make a run in the postseason.
Yeah, I'm thinking the Buffalo Bills are going to beat them this week. What kind of dog are they? Are they 1.5? Yeah, it's Bills minus 2.5, actually.
Bills minus 2.5. Wow,
Yeah.
it's in Miami, correct?
Yeah, it's in Miami. That's crazy, huh?
Yeah, it is.
But nobody
Well,
trusts the Dolphins now, you know?
and they've had all these injuries throughout the year. The Dolphins have.
Yeah.
They're missing key O linemen as the years went on. They're only missing more, and then they just lost Bradley Chubb for the year last week.
Yeah, and I think Waddle's out for this game, but
Yeah,
Tyreek Hill will be back, so
yeah.
that'll help them a lot.
As long as they have Tyreek Hill, usually their offense has no problems being explosive.
Yeah, Moten's out too, but they got Arcane, is that his name?
Achan, Devin Achan.
A-Chain, A-Chain. Yeah, so he's pretty good. He's pretty good too, so
Yeah, they got a very explosive offense. They're full of guys like that.
they just don't do it against good defenses though. So
Well, speaking of improved defenses, you got the Indianapolis Colts. Not necessarily a completely revamped roster, but it looks like it. The way they're playing.
yep.
They bring in Shane Steichen from Philly, and we were getting into this the other day talking about potentially coach of the year candidate right here. What are you seeing from him that you really like from this team? Do you have him as coach of the year?
Yeah, I think he's one of the favorites, and you have to have him as a favorite because they weren't very good last year, and been missing their running back this year, Jonathan Taylor, for most of the year, and their defense has come on, but really it's still only a mid 20th, 23rd rating defense, something like that. And they're facing the Texans, CG Stroud,
Yeah,
maybe. I don't know. See, Colts play a cover three, and Stroud just eats up that cover three, man. So I think I'm leaning towards the Texans for sure in this one, even though the Colts are at home.
yeah, and that's also with Houston as well. They got a new head coach who's also coach of the year candidate.
Oh yeah, actually,
And
I think he might be the coach of the year. I mean, they won what 2 games last year, and now they're playing. They're going to be going to the playoffs probably.
yeah,
They got a chance
yeah,
to
and
win the division.
absolutely. And who wins this game might end up winning coach of the year. But
Yeah, I think so. Because D'Amico Ryans is no slouch, man. He's got
no, not at
if
all.
if Jacksonville loses and Texans win, Jacksonville has to win on Sunday. If
Mhm.
Houston wins, the Texans win because Houston will take the division.
Yeah,
That's how
and
close it is. So it's a
and
must
C
win for Jacksonville.
yeah, it is. And CJ Stroud has just been balling this year. I mean, a rookie, most likely going to win Rookie of the Year. The only really competitor for that award is Puka Nakua,
Yeah.
who's been a star of his own this year.
Now he needs 4 catches and 29 yards to break the rookie record. Bill Bill Groman owns that record, but he did it in 12 games, so it's got to be an asterisk there somewhere.
Yeah,
I mean,
everybody's got it.
just like Cup when he did it in 17 games, he broke the record in 60. That was on a 16 game schedule. Even he admitted they should put an asterisk, but they probably won't.
Yeah. Well, the game's always changing with more games and however they decide to
Yeah,
do it. It's
yeah,
changed a lot.
he's like the fourth leading receiver this year in yards. I mean, he's only a couple yards behind AJ Brown for third, and Brown might not even play this week. So who knows? He probably pass him.
Yeah, it's been
I think that's the only reason he's even playing this week to break that record, and he'll probably come out.
yeah. I think so too, because the Rams are sitting most of their starters. But what have you
So
seen from Puka Nakua and the rest of this young Rams team this year that has seemed to be a little ahead of the curve as far as rebuilding and getting on the winning track again, especially after a
way,
year like last year?
yeah, way ahead of schedule. I mean, they started off 3-6. Everybody's bearing them, including me, and they go into the bye and win 6 out of 7. Is that crazy? The only game they lost to is the number one seed in the whole league, the Ravens, in overtime.
And
That
you
is
know that there's
crazy.
really something funny about that. I feel like there's somebody that we know that really predicted that they were going to win 6 out of 7, be in this exact spot we're talking about right now. At,
Yeah, I probably owe him some money too.
huh?
Thanks, son.
I wonder who
It
that
was
could
it
be.
was you.
I
It
don't
was you. You called it.
know.
I'm like, let's just get a high draft pick. And you're like, no, they're gonna make the playoffs. I says, so I probably owe
Yeah,
you a few dollars. You know,
yeah.
we'll call
Well,
it even, probably. You
yeah,
know,
probably you're probably gonna have to. Yeah, I probably shouldn't even brought it up, honestly.
yeah, you got me there. I
Yeah.
think you're the only one that really ever thought they was gonna make the playoffs. I mean, yeah, I had to eat
Well,
a lot of stuff, a lot of crap.
you look at it the way it was at the beginning of the season. Things kind of started off really good, and then it started to take a turn for the worst when they got beat by the Steelers in a close game, very physical game that came down to the wire. And then they lose to a team like the Cowboys, who really was kind of their measuring test right there to see how good they really were. And Stafford gets hurt, hurts
Mhm.
his thumb in that game, and they end up getting blown out. And then they go play against a team like Green Bay with the backup, and Brett Rippon under center. They end up getting beat pretty bad by Green Bay, and so there was good reason to look like the season may have
Yeah,
been over with, but Stafford came back, so he started to get healthy,
yeah,
and all of a sudden everybody started to catch rhythm. Kyron Williams came back from injury at running back, and you see with
exactly.
him in there, that just changes everything. You look at all the years that Sean McVay has had success with the Rams team, it's when they've been able to run the football. You know, Whenever Sean McVay came into the league, everybody thought, oh, it was very, exciting, deep pass kind of football, when really the run game has set up everything that Sean McVay does in this offense. Sets up the play action, sets up the quick passes. Everything goes through the run. And their line this year has been the key to it all, as they've made huge steps from last year to this year and being able to protect Stafford, keep him upright, and also create for the run game, which goes hand in hand in the play action.
Yeah, I think that was the big thing. They had the bye. Everybody got a chance to get healthy. Kyron Williams, Stafford got his thumb healthy. I think it gave it the O line time to get healthy and get some time together. And they've
Yeah,
just taken off. I think the O line's the whole reason because their offense has been going good. I mean, Kyron Williams, that guy's a stud, but you got to have an offensive line. And Stafford's been getting protected really well. He hasn't had more than 4 or 5 sacks in the last seven weeks. It's
yeah,
crazy. Yeah,
yeah.
and that's why Kyron Williams has been able to do so well. And the passing game's gone well because Stafford's getting protected finally.
Yeah, absolutely. And that's the key to a lot of great quarterbacks. You look at the history of Tom Brady, a guy
Yep.
that's had the most success out of anybody that's played in the league. And everybody knew that the key to beating Tom Brady was, if you're going to beat him, you're going to have to hit him often. You're going to have to rattle him. With all the
Yep.
great quarterbacks, very rarely do you see a quarterback where the more you hit him, the more it doesn't phase him. I mean, you look at guys in the past like Kurt Warner or even Joe Burrow today. I've seen the guy get sacked 9 times in a playoff game and still find a way to
Still
win.
win.
That
Yeah.
guy's unbelievable. But that's the key to everything. You keep your quarterback healthy. Who knows what your team can do. And you see this year, it's been a big problem is not very many quarterbacks are healthy. And with that being
Yep.
said, there's a quarterback who has come out of nowhere this year and put his team all of a sudden. He's the talk of the town. Joe
Yep.
Flacco, old
Flacco.
Baltimore
Wow.
legend, has come out of here
That
and he's
guy's
carried
almost
Cleveland.
that guy's almost as old as I am, and he's still playing. I can't believe it. Maybe I should go back.
I think you can.
Uh, yeah, right.
Well, if you have the Cleveland Browns O line, maybe.
Oh yeah, and their defense. I mean,
Yeah, Their
Heck,
defense, I'm sure,
he's their
that'll help a
four
lot.
string he's their four string quarterback, and he's all of a sudden he's come in and they're scoring points, man.
Yep.
Didn't help him
And
against the Rams though, but everybody else he's won.
well, he looks like the same old confident Flacco.
In his history, he's had a good running game. When he's been good, he's had a good running game and a great defense, and that's what he's
Yep.
got this year. I mean, when he won his championship with the Ravens, it was all defense and running, and now he's back to the same kind of offense. He's looking good.
Yeah, and I remember that run with Baltimore that he had that playoffs. He got hot at the right time.
Yeah,
He had 14 touchdowns and 4 interceptions in that playoff run. Carried the Ravens all the way to the Super Bowl, that one against the Niners. And boy, did he look good. He got paid, I remember afterwards.
yeah, he wasn't gonna get paid before that one. I'll tell you what, because he wasn't very
Yeah.
good. He had that run. He made some bucks. He wasn't very good after it though, but
Hey,
he
sometimes
got
that's
his
all it
money.
takes.
He's got his money,
Yeah,
right?
that's all it takes right there.
I mean, his signature win besides the Super Bowl is when he threw that last second pass to beat Peyton Manning and the Broncos, like an 80,
Yeah.
90-yard pass. That's all of a sudden they're like, whoa,
Yeah, I believe
that's
that was the
crazy.
divisional championship.
I think it was. I mean, it wasn't the conference championship, but that's got them started.
Yeah.
That's when they started getting going because the Broncos and Peyton Manning were the favorites that year.
Yeah, they were. That was Peyton Manning's first year, I believe, in Denver.
Yep.
Wow, what a run. Let's get into good quarterback play right now, though, getting hot at the right time. Because Lamar Jackson, nobody's playing better than him right now.
MVP.
Got to be at this point. I mean, let's look at this. Before the season started, the Ravens basically gave permission to all the other teams in the league saying, hey, you can talk to this guy if you want to. You can negotiate a contract with him. Gave him permission. And basically every team went out of their way to say, we're not interested.
Yeah, he wanted 60 million or so, and he was their own agent. He didn't even have an agent. He's talking for himself, so it's hard to get a hold of him because he's busy.
But you look at it now, I
Yeah,
mean,
they were like, "See what you can get, we'll match it."
yep.
But finally they said,
And
"Okay, we'll give it to you." But they changed their offensive coordinator now, and it's so much more pass heavy. Before it was running, run, and
mhm.
him running, making plays on the move. This year they got a passing game, very good passing game, and he's came into his own as a quarterback. Who are they playing this weekend? Oh, Pittsburgh.
Pittsburgh and
Yeah,
Baltimore will be sitting all their starters as well because they've already clinched the number one seed, them and the Niners on the other side.
that's right. Steelers got if they win, they get in too. Well, they need some help, but they got a chance to get in. Go
Mike
ahead.
Tomlin, all year, well, his whole career,
Yeah,
not had one losing season.
I know. And everybody's like, this is should be his last season. He needs to move on. I'm like,
Well,
come on,
every,
man.
every year it feels like it. Like they're on the cusp of having a losing season. Out of nowhere, he finds a
I,
way every
I
time.
know. He put in his third string quarterback, and all of a sudden they're passing the ball. Who knew? I
Make it make
mean,
sense.
what's their quarterback now? Mason Rudolph.
Yep.
Man, he was a bum until the last couple of weeks. Hell, they're scoring. Heck, they're scoring 29 points a game now. Before they were scoring 16.
Well,
But
yeah. At the start of the year, we were asking why Mason Rudolph still had a spot on the team.
yeah,
You
I
know,
mean, think you could use it better somewhere. But yeah, he's come on. I never seen that. I mean, but Pittsburgh's beat the Ravens. They're 6-1 in the last 7 against the Ravens. And even 3-1 against Jackson, though he's not starting. So I got a good feeling about Pittsburgh. I think they're gonna cover, if not win. I think they're
yeah.
gonna win this game. I really do.
I do believe Pittsburgh's going to come out with this one. I think it's theirs for the taking. I mean, they're playing for everything right now. They're playing for a playoff spot, to a chance to even get in the dance.
Yeah.
And the Ravens, they already got their spot secured. They're not even going to risk playing any of their starters and get anyone hurt,
Yeah. No.
going into the playoffs. And so I think really with the divisional game, if all the starters played, I think it's a close game. But with all the starters out, I think Pittsburgh takes care of business here tomorrow.
I do. I do
And
too.
I believe that Pittsburgh is favored in this one, right?
I think they are.
I think Pittsburgh is favored by at least 3.
Something like that. Yeah.
But as far as upsetting the Ravens or the Niners, the two number one seeds of each conference, who do you think poses the best chance to upset either of those teams?
In the playoffs?
Yeah.
Well, Dallas had their shot against the 49ers. That didn't end very well. Philadelphia, did they beat the 49ers? I don't think so, did
No,
they?
I think Niners
No.
ended up they started off slow, but Niners ended up beating them pretty good.
It usually comes down to the hottest team in the league, really. I mean, if the Rams get there, who knows? They did it before.
Well, I think the Rams of the past, it's crazy because the Rams had lost what 8 straight going into that NFC Championship game. They
Yeah,
had played that one year, the Super Bowl year for the Rams, and they had beat them. But the Rams have lost a few more times since then. I think three
yeah,
to
they're
be
up to
exact.
11 or 12, something like that.
Yeah, and so
11 going into this game.
yeah, and but I just get a feeling seeing the way that they matched up last game that they played earlier in the year. The that the Rams are these days, their style of play, it's a lot different than of years past. In years past, they were kind of more of the flashy type. You saw when we had Odell, we had Von Miller over there in LA, and they were more of a flashy team. Like the just like LA kind of is.
Yeah.
And you had the Niners, who are more of the gritty team, the kind of the bullies. You know what I mean?
Oh, yeah.
But this year, this Rams team is a lot younger. They're a lot tougher. They're a lot more physical, and it kind of seems like they're playing the Niners game, but with fresher legs. They got younger guys, and they match up a lot better now with the Niners than they have in years past.
Yeah. Well, it just turns, we just got to wait to see how it shakes out tomorrow. Who's going to play who in the first round? I mean,
Yeah,
if the Rams have to play Dallas, in Dallas, that's going to be crazy. I mean, if Dallas wins their division, they'll be the 2 seed,
yep,
and Philadelphia loses, they'll be the 4 seed, and Detroit wins, they might be the 3rd seed.
yeah,
They could have took the 2nd seed if the refs had done their job this last game. But hey, that's football, though.
yeah. It seems to be the talk of the town. But you know, I hate to be the guy that's based it off one call because you
Yeah,
know based off how many plays there are in a football game.
yeah,
One call ultimately does not decide it. There's
yeah.
so much that goes on in a game. But
Unless,
if I'm a Lions fan, I'm I'm blaming the refs for sure, no doubt about
yeah,
it.
you're right. You can't blame the refs. They had a whole game, but unless the call cost you the game, I
Yeah,
mean, then maybe you got to think about it.
yeah,
So,
yeah,
yeah, that was a good game. So you just really got to shake out, see what I mean. Matchups is what it's all about. Matchups
yeah,
and who's going to play who in the first round. I mean, Green Bay, they win. They got the 6th seed,
yeah. If
and the
they
Rams.
win and the Rams lose, they will get the 6th seed. They're the
Yeah,
only team that owns a tiebreaker over the Rams in the bottom half of the NFC.
exactly. Then we're going to be playing probably Dallas if they win. I mean,
Yeah,
that we
and
don't match up well. Rams don't match up well with Dallas.
no, they do
Not
not.
not at Dallas's house.
And I think Philadelphia matches up well with the Niners based off their style of play. But
Yeah,
this Eagles team is not the same Eagles team that we're accustomed to seeing. They're not the same Eagles team as last year. And I personally don't think that the Cowboys are quite ready to play him because the Cowboys do play a bit of a bully ball with everybody else in the NFL until they play the Niners, who are like the bigger bully. And I don't think that they'd be prepared to go into San Francisco and beat them. I don't think that there's a team in the NFC that can beat the Niners. And it'd be interesting to see if they do rematch the Ravens in the Super Bowl, if they'd be able to get some revenge there, because
yeah.
that Ravens team is hot right now.
Yeah, it's gonna be hard to beat the Cowboys at home, but they're 3-5 on the roads. So
Yeah,
they have to go on the road to play somebody. It's gonna be pretty tough because at
yeah,
home they're undefeated. I mean, they're destroying teams at home. Get them on the road, they're only averaging like 21 points a game. At home, they're in the 30s. They're one of
yeah,
the top scoring teams at home. So the key to get Dallas is get them on the road. And
very
then they'll
true.
have to play the 49ers on the road. if they get the number 2 seed eventually, they'll have to play the 49ers. I think everybody's trying to match up where they don't have to play the 49ers
Yeah, that's everybody's kind
until
of
the
ducking
conference finals, you know?
Yeah, I think it's kind of obvious. Everyone's ducking the Niners for
Everybody's
sure.
like, yeah, that's why everybody's fighting for that 2 seed.
Yeah, but
But
you go to the AFC and talking Baltimore, with Niners see him again, possibly Super Bowl. But
yeah,
leading up to that, I mean, you thought that the Dolphins might be a big time contender for knocking the Ravens off, and Baltimore ended up beating them pretty handily last week.
yeah.
I mean, Baltimore's really they're kind of bullying everybody they're playing right now. I mean, do you see anybody else in the AFC that can really compete with those guys?
Oh, maybe the Browns, you know? I mean, wouldn't that be quite a game? Both teams got one of the top 2 defenses. Flacco used to play for Baltimore when they won
Flacco coming back
their last championship.
to
Wouldn't that be a
Baltimore.
good matchup? I'd
Wow,
love to see it. Of
I
course,
would love to see that
the
too.
Ravens got the number 1, pass defense, so hate to see what might happen to Flacco in that game.
I know, huh? You got the script or something? That kind of sounds like something someone with the
No,
script would say.
no.
You sure?
Yeah, I don't need a script for that.
Well, yeah, Baltimore. That'd be very interesting because you got a divisional
Yeah,
matchup and the divisional games. You never know how those are going to play out. You know, playoffs come around and nobody knows each other better. You kind of know each
yeah.
other's style of play. You see each other twice a year. You can't really surprise each other. So that would be a pretty good matchup right there. I
You know,
mean,
maybe yeah, go ahead.
you got a team like Buffalo, Josh
Yeah,
Allen, the way he's moving around. Um, he might be able to pose a threat. I mean, you got to look at the elite quarterbacks to someone that's going to take out this number one defense. I mean, they really got the offensive firepower to do it. You would usually be able to say Pat Mahomes, but the questions that they've had at receiver and the trust issues that he's had with his offense in general, it's hard to see them coming out on top this year. He's proved us all wrong before, but I think Josh Allen, I'd like to see him get his due at a big run this year. He's been very close in years past, and it'd be
very
nice to see
close.
him and Lamar Jackson
Oh, that
duke it
would
out.
be big time quarterbacks, same kind of game.
Yeah,
Yeah. I mean, everybody coming in the season, the favorites were Buffalo and the Chiefs to have it out again, you know, and the Chiefs are a shell of themselves. I mean, they don't have any wide receivers. The ones they got can't catch it. So I think Mahomes is really frustrated this year. I've never seen him this frustrated. I mean, he's one of the greatest quarterbacks in the last 5, 10 years, 5 or 7 years before after
hmm
Brady left. He's definitely the best quarterback in the league. And
yeah,
I've never seen him struggle like this. I mean, that shows you, I mean, you're only as good as the talent around you. I mean, I don't care how many good balls you throw if they don't catch them, they're not
yeah,
any good. And you can see the frustration. I've never seen him this frustrated. And so I don't think they're going to do anything, but they might surprise you. You know, win one maybe,
yeah,
and uh, and you go Buffalo, and you got Miami, who's one of the leading teams in offense, but when they play a good defense, they shrivel in prime time, and they can't beat a good defense for some reason. Their defense is not bad. They lost Bradley Chubb, you know, and that's
yeah,
going to hurt them a lot on their defense. And they got Jalen Ramsey healthy now, so other than that, I don't know. I think Browns. Who else is there? I mean, none of these other guys like the Texans or the Jags are going to win anything in there against those guys.
yeah. Well, maybe Stroud. I mean, you look at the ultimate equalizer against a great passing defenses, a quarterback that can run and throw it. You know,
Yeah,
someone that can keep them on their toes. Wear out the defense and kind of go off script because any defense that's that great, they can shut you down schematically. You know what I mean? Once you snap the ball, nothing's there. But if you got a quarterback that can roll out off broken plays and create something, kind of like the way Lamar does,
yeah,
and bring in that extra element, it can change the whole ball game against a good defense like that. So you never know based off matchups, and as well as
yeah.
coached as this Houston team is, and maybe Houston could give Baltimore a little run for their money if they see each other. They're a little young though. It would
Yeah,
be a
and
bit of a stretch, but
the thing about the Texans, they lost their top receiver. The other one's been hurt. You
yeah,
know, they're running out of wide receivers, really. Stroud's carrying them. I mean, they lost Dell, wasn't that his name?
yeah, Tank Dell.
Tank Dell. I mean, that was the big one for him, man. And now he's down to his second string, his second best receiver's been hurt off and on all year. So
Hmm.
yeah, if he had all his weapons, I think he would give anybody a run for their money, but they're pretty short on wide receivers right now. They can run the ball though, and their defense is a lot better than you think. They're
Yeah,
like the
they
third
are.
best. They're like the third best defense. I mean, their coach, D'Amico Ryans, came from San Francisco as defensive coordinator, and man, he has turned that team around. Coach of the year candidate. And I think he
Yeah,
should be the favorite.
really
And
over
then,
Shane Steichen.
yeah, I mean, Tyken took over a team that won what 6, 7 games last year,
I don't
and
know if they won that many last
well,
year.
so
They had
five
the third
maybe.
pick, third or fourth pick with Anthony Richardson.
Yeah, but you notice the number 2 pick went to the Texans, who only won 2 games all last year, and now they have a chance to go in the playoffs.
Hmm.
So that's big. That's a big turnaround. You don't go from the second pick to the playoffs in 1 year unless you got a great coach.
Yeah,
Let's talk about Green Bay and Vikings. I mean, Green Bay has a chance to get in. If they win, they're in. And the Rams lose, they take the 6th seed, and the Rams go
yeah,
down the 7th seed. I
Green
mean,
Bay.
yeah. Who they playing? Bears? I mean, they've won 9 straight against the Bears.
Yep.
So I'm pretty sure Green Bay is going to win this game, but you never know. Chicago's coming on, man.
Yeah, Chicago's won I think 3 out of their last 4, and
Yeah,
Justin Fields has been playing his tail off, and I think everybody knows Justin Fields is kind of playing for his job right now.
yeah.
Because the
It's
Bears,
fun.
they're kind of lurking. They're looking around. They got the top 2 picks. They're kind of thinking about Caleb Williams coming up next year in the
Yeah.
draft. He's been the talk of the town. And they're considering their options. Maybe they trade those picks, get a lot more draft assets, get some talent, and keep Justin Fields there, which is what I personally think what I would do. But you
Well, they
know,
got the top pick from the Panthers, but they've been winning lately, so they're probably about 6 or 7 on their
that's
own.
right. They did drop in that.
They dropped way back at one time this season. They had the first 2 picks, but
Yeah.
they've out they've won some games and took themselves out of the, which is refreshing. They could have
Yeah.
lost like a lot of teams are doing to try to get the first 2 or 3 picks, but they've
Hmm.
actually come on because Fields has been playing for his career, really.
Yeah, he has.
His next
And
contract. I mean, are you going to take a quarterback with number one, or are you going to pay Fields 40 million? That's the, I
that's
mean,
also
that's the question right there.
that's a
I
big question.
mean, they might keep him, uh, but it comes down to it's not like is he good enough to stay around, but is he good enough to pay him 40 million?
Yep.
Yeah, that's the question right there. And he's
That's
not. He's not ready to pay him 40 million, but you'll have to because that's a
hmm
going rate, even for quarterbacks that are not that good.
yeah.
Then you got the Vikings. Who are they playing?
They must be playing Detroit, right?
That's right, Detroit.
Yeah.
Let's talk about Detroit for a minute here, man. I mean, win their first division title in 30 years. Could have been the number 2 seed if they had won that Dallas game and won today. They would have been the number 2 seed. You realize that?
They would have been.
And Goff, he's having a heck of a year, but they got one of the best running games in the league. And
Yeah.
Minnesota, they still got a chance to get in. I mean, they just need Green Bay, Tampa Bay,
Hmm.
who else? New Orleans, and one other team to lose, and they could get in. I
So,
mean,
so you're saying there's a chance?
yeah, there's kind of a chance, I guess. If 4 other teams lose, they could get in.
That's what you call it. Yeah.
Hey, there's always a chance.
Hey,
You
there's
never
always a
know,
chance.
especially
Never
in
know.
football. The last
Yeah.
week in football, or any week in football, there's always a chance.
Any given Sunday,
Even
baby.
getting Sunday, man. Yep.
Well, yeah, and you look at a player like Jordan Love, who's really come on this year.
Oh yeah. He's like second in the league in passing touchdowns. He's got 30 passing touchdowns. You realize that?
Yeah,
He's
which
really
is
come on.
he has, and
Over 4,000 yards.
yeah, and that's a good time to bring up as well, though, that this year is kind of a down year as far as passing yards go and passing touchdowns. It's almost like the
Exactly.
defense has caught up to the offense because you look at years past, it kind of looks like the offense have been taken over. It was getting too crazy. All of a sudden, the defenses are really catching up. And I mean, just look at it like a decade ago. You had like three or four guys that were throwing for 5,000,
I know.
and now the leading passer I think has like 4,400. 34
Yeah,
touchdown passes. I
I
think Dak
know,
leads
that's
the league.
crazy. That's Zach. Yeah, Dak, he's got like 34 touchdowns. Now if he could just went on the road, I feel bad for
Yeah.
Dak.
Well,
I
hey,
mean, Cowboy fans don't even like him. That's pretty bad.
we're-
He's their quarterback. I hate that.
hey, well, we're getting short on time, so I'll close with this. A
Okay.
quote that I heard from Shannon Sharp, I believe last week or so. He said, "The Dallas Cowboys are like my ex. They're really pretty, but I don't trust them."
Hey, that's a good way to end it, son. Thanks
that,
for
that
having
is
me
a good.
on. I appreciate it.
No, I appreciate you coming on. I had a great time with you. We'll definitely plan on having you on more often.
Thank you.